So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining here with us today. Looking at the current situation, it is pretty nice that everybody here joined today. And Happy New Year, of course. And today we have a very special senior with us. He is party like since you all are like many of you all are like giving like submitting apps for the first time. There is always the need of how to look for good like ideas or how to do it, and who's better than someone who has done it a year before you, or a or who has gone through the same struggles, right? So you can relate to the situations much better rather than bringing someone who specializes in those kind of field of development. So this is Vijay Bhaiya. He's our immediate senior from IMTech 19. Considering there is no IMTech 19 here, so he's for everyone he is the immediate senior. So uh, I hope everyone gets some idea if they don't have any idea yet for the app submission here, and then we're going to move on quickly into the session where like for each group, one of you will give some like 33 seconds or a minute, not more than a minute, idea about what they're trying to build. It's not necessary that it has to become whatever the final app, but what you're trying to build, we want to get a small idea here. Okay, so Vijay bhai, I hope you're here. uh,
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks.
yeah. So the
So,
stage is all yours.
yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to see so many of you here. My name is Vijay. As Moja just introduced, I am third year student at IIT Bangalore. So, I have prepared a few slides here. So, the agenda is I'm going to present a few slides, and I won't be telling you exactly what an idea is and all that, but hopefully give you some steer you in the right direction on how you can possibly find ideas for your projects and so on. So, can anyone please confirm whether they can see the screen? You can? Okay, perfect. So this is the agenda for today. I'm going to talk about how you formulate your idea, concretize your idea, validate the idea, and present it in the end after your hackathon, or perhaps in the session as well. So the main question here is what actually an idea is in the context of a hackathon. Now, if you talk about just ideas in an abstract sense, you could have multiple definitions, you could have multiple different terminologies or views on what an idea is. But in the context of a hackathon, an idea is generally these amalgamation of these four things. It's what your app, in this case, you're making an app. So what your app does, the use cases of the app. So I think at this juncture, I'd like to clarify what I mean by use case. So for example, a use case of a food delivery app would be choosing a location and ordering food. So it's what your app does. Implementation of said use cases. So how you would go about doing that, and integrations to realize my spelling is incorrect, but integrations to realize said implementations is what tools or what technologies or what frameworks you'd use to, or what algorithms you'd use to make your use cases come to life. So that's what the idea is in a broad sense when it comes to your hackathon and hackathon projects. So the million pound question obviously is how to find or generate ideas. So there are many things you can do, like many things in computer science or in college in general. The best solution is probably Google it. But then again, there are certain ways that you can Google which will get you much better results or results much faster. Some of them are, for example, so not just Google, you can also go to GitHub or DevPost or look at videos of your idea project. So in Google, you have something that's known as tags and there's something that's keywords. So you can use the keywords and use the tags and start to filter out the results. So for example, I think you're going to use Kotlin, right? So you can search for Kotlin projects, or you can search for Kotlin projects in a particular, like for example, an application or a field or something like that. Similarly with GitHub as well, you can filter it with the frameworks or the topics or something just to get you started or just to get your gears churning. That okay, fine, maybe I could try something like this or something like that, or there is a project like this, maybe I can try to improve upon it. You know what I mean? And DevPost is a platform where there are many hackathon projects, and normally if you have a hackathon you tend to submit the project on DevPost as well with a written description of what your project is and so on. And so you can also see many other DevPost submissions and you can take inspiration from that. Another thing is many of these hackathons typically have you record and submit videos, so not just our hackathon, other hackathons as well, like MLH and so on, and you can go through those demo videos as well. So this is just to get you started with like what you could possibly build or some basic inspiration. So that's how you formulate your idea. Then you should think through it and think, okay, fine, this is what I've seen, this is what I like, let me try doing something like this. So you're going to combine all the inspirations you get. And what I would personally recommend is either make a use case diagram or a description of all the things you want to do. So as I just mentioned, use cases is what your app does. And the use case diagram is something you can definitely look into. And just give me a second. You can still hear me, right? Okay. A use case diagram is something that tells you a schematic view, at least, of from start to finish, how your app will perform the set things. And a description is okay, fine, I want this thing, I want that thing, and so on. If you keep it in writing or in typing, you will remember it in the future, and you can start to filter in things that are viable or something that are not viable. But this is something I would definitely recommend all of you to do. Of course, this is after discussing this with your teammate as well. And that's the next part. So you know what the app will do, you've written down what the app's going to do. Now what? So how do you make sure that this is something that you should pursue? How do you make sure this is something that you can pursue, that it is viable, and so on? That's when it comes to the concretization part. So typically you'll be part of a team, maybe teams of 3, 2, 4, 6, doesn't matter. Each team member will have different perspectives, and they would have worked on different projects in the past, or they would know certain things in the past, or maybe, for example, design or pitching or something. They would have some kind of idea on how to do certain things. So you have to reconcile all of the things, and you can modify your ideas based on that. Second thing is, we've all heard the saying, shoot for the stars, you'll aim for the whatever, shoot for the moon, you'll aim for the stars. But oftentimes that might not happen in the hackathon. Although you can shoot for the moon, sometimes you have time constraints. For example, 2 days, you can't build, Spotify in 2 days. So you have to make it incremental. You have to make it, you can start small and start to expand. But based on the different priorities and different circumstances during the event, you can start to modify the idea and make it more relevant as to your current skill set or as to your current status of your team and so on. So that's the concretization step. And last step is the validation step. So this is basically once you've all agreed to the idea and so on, you can start to work on, making a project. And also, I'm not sure if you have to use DevPost or something on this for this hackathon, but I'll show you what DevPost is. In many of the MLH hackathons, at least, you would have to make a write-up of your project, like the description and so on. If you want to do something like that, start at this stage itself, because you won't have time in the future. Anyway, so is it clear till now? Do you have any doubts? Was I speaking too fast? Okay, it's clear. Thank you. Fine. So this is an important point. Your idea is obviously not set in stone. You can always modify it based on what transpires. For example, if you sleep too much on one day and you cannot complete that, you can obviously reduce it. But try to keep certain basic things that you have to implement, so that way you won't slack off too much. You know what I mean? So, but this is something very important. When people think, okay, fine, I've made an idea, now I have to do it no matter what. You can always finish your project after the hackathon. But when it comes to your submission that you need at least a minimum viable product, you can maybe backtrack a little bit on some maybe extra modifications that you had planned. You can maybe remove that and focus on the core functionality and so on. So that's up to you. So now obviously you're going to present your idea. I think in this session, you're also going to present your idea, but even otherwise, you're going to present your project at least at the end of the hackathon. Typically, many hackathons require you, or many organizers require you to send a 2-minute or 3-minute demo video about what your project is and how it works and so on. If at all you were to do this, it's my opinion, and it's probably best practice to focus more on the practical aspects of your project. Yes, sure, you could say that, yes, I've built it with this and this and this and this, and that is important. You can say your tech stack maybe, but don't make it too long. People, the judges, want to see how your project works. Now you might be saying, well, not all hackathons ask you to build a product. That's true. Some of them are ideation hackathons in which you just have to make an idea and propose it. And that's where you can focus on the practical aspects, where it can be used in the future, how you could possibly improve your thing, and how you would probably implement it if you had to. So those are a few tips I have for idea presentation. So that's all I have for the slides. Now I would go on to show you some demos, how to manage tryhards and lazy people. Yeah, first of all, nice username. So there are certain tryhards and lazy people, that's always there. So what I would suggest is try to tell them that you've used something like this before, it's not going to work and it's going to harm the team. And if they still don't, still don't understand, or they still don't follow through, you can try to give them little less work or something, and you can try to finish off a little more. And when they're done with it, you can ask them to do more. But that's true, you will have lazy people in all the groups. It's up to you. If you have attended more than maybe 2 or 3 hackathons and you've seen some lazy people in your group, you would know what to do automatically. So this comes by experience, but in my experience, I had very few people who didn't really work because they couldn't actually, they were not well. So in that case, it's your job to take over their work somewhat and do, but also educate them as to how you did it, such that in the future maybe they probably won't be try hard and so on. Yeah, they may be new. So the best asset, actually, in my opinion, this might be unconventional. The best teammates, in my opinion, are people who are new to the frameworks and new to anything. Because although they might not give you that much expertise, they'll be very much willing to learn. You know what I mean? So if they're very much willing to learn, and if you're also new, I feel like a brand new team is always the best team. unless if you're going to learn. So many people go to hackathons for different things. I personally go for learning. So if at all I choose a project, more often than not, I want to learn something new. Some people go for prizes, which is also perfectly fine. You should go, but that's after you attain certain proficiency. But certain hackathons give you, so if you're a beginner, for example, if this is your first hackathon, certain organizers give you special prizes for beginner hackathons. So if you're a new person or if you have a teammate who's a newbie, do encourage them and it'll be good in the future as well. So I hope that answers your question, Cornflakes. Okay. So moving on, I would like to show you some demos or some of the DevPost submissions and how we went through the ideas and so on. So as I mentioned earlier, most hackathons will probably have a team, and it's always best to adhere to that team. Sorry, not team, theme, because more often than not, the judges will be looking for that. So for example, this is a project we made almost as a joke, but the hackathon had a joke category. It had the most, I think I forgot exactly what they called it, but the category of this project was just for fun. So sometimes you can just enter hackathon just for fun to learn something new, and that's what we aimed for. So we aim for typically, so maybe I can digress here. There are two major facets, let's say, of making an idea. One is expansion and one is integration. So integration is basically you make a big app that has many core functionalities, but all of them are core. And expansion is you have different parts of your app and you just combine them together. So this is somewhat of an expansion app. And what we try to do is all of the teammates try to learn something new, and we went online to see some inspiration things, some not inspirational things, some things for inspiration, and we made one thing with all of them and submitted all of them as standalone. Okay, so this is one particular thing you can probably try. So try many things and try to integrate them somehow. This one, this is the part where I mentioned about your team's strengths or your team's expertise. So what this person Neil, he is really good at hardware. This person is really good at designing. This person is really good at front end, and I was okay at ML. So what we decided to do is create an app that highlights each of these things and has a component based on each team member's expertise. So for example, there was a hardware component, there was an ML component, which was prediction, and there was a front end and a back end component. So you can try to do something like this. So based on what all of you know, try to reconcile and try to combine all of these good things about your team and try to make something new. And typically some of your teammates will also be very good at maybe video editing or designing or even writing, and you can also use their help while making a write-up or making your demo videos. So that's another thing you can look at. The third thing is, so how we really approach the idea is we typically had something in mind. So this is where domain knowledge comes into play. So if they tell you a theme, before the hackathon starts, you go and research into the theme. See what open issues there are in that particular field. For example, this one was healthcare. So this one was healthcare. And we noticed that logging, so we have typical paper prescription set, but they get lost often. So this was motivated by personal experience, let's say. So we wanted a digital way to store the receipts. And you might say there's already software that does that. That's true, but that's not very widespread and that's not very decentralized. So we wanted to make an app that allows the doctors to communicate with the patients effectively and send documents safely and securely. So that's how this came about. And this was an Android. So my friend Sasuke made this app. He was very good at Android, and so he used Android to make the app. And the other two teammates, we focused on the other front end aspects and we made a website for it and we made an API for it. So again, so you need domain knowledge, go research on the topic and then choose something. So this is your idea formulation. Okay. The next thing is after you attend maybe 2 or 3 hackathons, you would know that you could do a certain functionality which could be common across many apps. In my case, it was API. So for those who don't know, API is basically, you can think of it like a black box. So you give it things, it gives you output based on some processing, and it's basically done. So that's a gross simplification, but you can think of API as a component that is used in many frameworks. Okay, or something that you can use when you use other frameworks as well. So I realized that making an API is something that we can do in a matter of very few minutes because we've done it very many times and we have a very stable and secure application which you can use APIs from, or we can make APIs from. So when you have something like that and you have a hackathon where you maybe start late or you have less time, you can think about what you already know, which you can make it, or you can amalgamate that into a new project. So this project we had less time to make it, and we started using APIs. And so we made API as a core thing, and we built other things that build on top of this API. And there was also a prize category for using a particular database system, which we did. And so you can, ride on some of your teammates' strengths. If they know how to make an API very well, it's probably a good asset to use an API. It's not a necessity, but if at all you have to, it's probably a good fallback, if anything. So I hope no doubts. And the last thing is very similar to the first one, but this is something that I wanted to really drive the point home of sticking to the theme. Of course, it is not necessary that you always stick to the theme. You could sometimes divert from the theme somewhat. It's up to you. But typically, if you do stick to the theme and if you adhere to the theme very well, you have a very good chance of winning, or you have a very good chance of making a very good project and learning something new. So this was a game development hackathon and more of an arcade hackathon. So we tried many things in arcade. So we tried many games. We made a particular engine for the game, and then we built many games on top of that, and we built a website to link it all together. So one person was very good at designing and making these games. One person is good at making the website. Another two people, we learned something new while making hand track animation. So it's like you move the thing with the hand. So projects aside, I hope you have some idea on how you can possibly approach it. So use your teammates' past experiences and go through. So if at all you're going to learn something new, use something new, go through some earlier projects others have made, and maybe if they have demo videos, go through them. Maybe you can see the source code as well and see how complicated it might be to implement. Of course, it's too early to say if you've just started, but if you've just started with something, it may not be always the best idea to go for a very big project or something that it's quite hard to implement. So you can first focus on learning the core things and then building out on that. And the way you build out on that with less time, that is up to your creativity. So these are some examples I wanted to show you. You can find these slides. I will send you the link to these slides as well. I hope it's somewhat clear now, and I hope you have some idea at least on how to start and how to find ideas or generate ideas and make them concrete. So I will stop sharing, and if there are any doubts, I would love to answer them.
Yeah, I don't think so. There are much more doubts.
Okay, if there are no doubts, then thank you. It was fun, and let's meet up sometime.
Yeah, so now we come to the second phase of our discussion here. So we would like one member from each of the teams who are making an app submission to start, like give a 30 seconds to 1 minute. Maybe you can go post 1 minute if you have something really good to share, and share with us what you're trying to build. So who would like to start? Like,
Hi Manjay.
yeah, Chaitanya, go ahead.
Alright, so it's me, Hardik, Sriram, and Agastya in a team. And yeah, so we were trying to make some sort of a playlist arranging app. So you see that generally in events of college, there are kind of disputes on which song should be played, how many times, which language, and all of that, right? So we thought, why not we make some sort of an app which takes in playlists from different batches and merges them in a way where all languages get equal priority, all batches get equal priority, and also it could have an internal voting system to make that playlist itself. That's all.
That's a pretty nice idea, actually. That's a pretty practical problem which we have suffered in events.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, yeah,
we
good,
thought if we could pull this off, this could be nice in
yeah,
events and stuff.
good idea. And I can see where you like got this idea from. Uh,
Well, we've had DJ nights, haven't we?
yeah, yeah. Uh,
yeah,
Anyone who would like to give any feedback or suggestion?
Yeah, sure.
Like, guys, just consider this as an informal
yeah.
discussion.
This part is informal. Yes.
Yeah, don't consider this as a rigorous viva kind of anything.
Yeah, I mean, we had many small intricate ideas, but then it's probably going to be much harder than that. So our finished product won't be that refined, but the aim is to just for now create a simple app which can take in votes to make one playlist and then maybe
Mhm.
add in a merging functionality and stuff later.
Right, right.
Yeah, so any other team who's willing to share? I have the submission I can easily call.
Okay, Chaitanya, you have Vijay's approval. He says nice idea. So you can go ahead.
Lovely. Well, Dhanvi, so we initially thought, I mean, we are thinking right now of taking, like, people would think of a song and paste its Spotify link into the app, and that will go up for voting. People can either upvote that song or add their own songs. In the end, everyone can vote for everything, and it'll give a descending order kind of a thing. And then you can probably cut the playlist to whichever song you would like last, and then that becomes your playlist for the night or whatever. And if you have multiple such playlists, we are hoping that we could somehow merge it and finally give you one big Spotify playlist. So that in any DJ night or something, you don't need any controller. You just need some person to keep pressing the next button.
Hmm.
Hello, I'm Vaibhav, and
Yeah, Vijay, we are
Yeah.
trying to use the Spotify API for getting information about each song and taking stuff like language, song name, and all from it and trying to make a playlist out of it.
Yeah, I see Vaibhav trying. Yeah, Vaibhav,
yeah,
please. Yeah.
I'm Vaibhav. I have a team with my batchmates, Natik and Arin. So what we have thought up till now is making a simple menu viewer. Right now, I felt that the food com it sends menu in Excel sheets through mails, so it's a hassle storing it somewhere in our WhatsApp personal chats. Then we have to search through the days opening the Excel sheet, so it's very tedious. So what we have thought of right now is implementing a simple menu maker slash viewer. It would like when we open the app, it would directly take you to the day. Like if it's Tuesday and I open the app, it would take me to the menu of Tuesday, and it would have a finder navigation panel which can take to different days. If I want to check the menu of Wednesday, it would take me to Wednesday, and it would also have a admin login which I hope probably Foodcom will use to update the menus periodically. It's probably gonna be very hard, but we will try to implement it.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good
Yeah,
ideas coming here.
nice idea.
All practical
Thank
ideas, like things we are struggling on
yeah,
campus. We are not on
yeah,
campus, but
yeah.
still, like such practical issues we are addressing.
It came out of my personal hate of Excel sheets,
Yeah,
zooming on phones.
that's the beauty of idea,
Yeah,
right? How like a
I can.
small hatred like leads to
Yeah,
making something better. Like
I can relate.
that's our idea right now. Thank you.
Yeah, nice, nice one.
Uh, Hello. Yeah,
yeah,
Hi.
yeah. I am Rachit, and my team consists of Vyom, Arhant, and Saket. So we were actually planning to build an app for the canteen thing because we all know that that guy there, like, first of all, he messes up the orders, like, and even the like system is a bit. Like not good because they mess up the orders and even the price and all they don't remember and that thing. So we were thinking of making app for the canteen where we can order stuff on our phone, and that thing would directly go to the chef maybe, and then for that and by that the order of the orders would be maintained, and even the price, there would be no issue for the price thing, which no, sorry, the costing that everybody would pay, then only they will get and all that thing. So we were thinking of this thing.
Hmm. Yeah, this is a very practical idea. Yeah, I like it.
So
Uh,
no one can earn from contributions then.
Like
no, no.
uh, what?
No, no, no.
Sorry,
No, fight, fight. We're just making this.
sorry, I didn't get
College is
it.
going to have actually a better place than a
Yeah.
hackathon. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, Vijay says you might want to look into item availability.
Yeah. So
Oh,
what I
okay,
meant by
yeah.
that was, for example, if they run out of an item, there should be some kind of indication that tells the other people that this item is out of stock. Something like that, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that is a
Hmm.
good idea. I didn't thought about it.
Because actually, like in Zen
Yeah,
Circle,
yeah.
we are making a canteen app, like somewhat
Oh,
similar
okay.
to yours. So this was the one of the practical things we faced. But no, it's a brilliant idea. I think if not in our college canteen, you can always deploy to other people as well. So you should not let that stop. So it's a nice idea. Try go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we would definitely try to implement that thing also.
Hmm.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Yeah, so what my team consists of Shreyansh, Sarthak, myself, and Kaushik. So we were thinking like I got this motivation when I went home this holiday. So like I saw the elderly people in my home. So due to this lockdown and all, they have become like more like a lonely kind of people because they aren't going to out to meet people who share their interests, and it's hard to find people who share their interests in the home. It's hard to relate with their generation. So something kind of a social networking app, which is directed towards the elderly people. Something like that. I was thinking, so that they could find people who could relate to their generation, like who could they could find someone like to talk to interact with.
right, right. So your idea is basically to channel the existing social media apps into like a targeted thing for the elderly, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So how is it going to be any different from suppose Twitter or something? Like in Twitter, we can choose to follow the people we like, right? So basically, we have like we decide what content we want to follow.
Yeah, so like we are yet to discuss how we do that, but like there are few apps from which we are taking inspiration. Like there is an app called Slowly, like which works on
Right.
the principle that you write letters in that, and
Hmm.
on the basis of calculation how much distant that person is from you, so it will take that much time to deliver your message. So
Okay.
it is like a very nice concept. I like that. So
Okay. Okay.
you might get thrilled by this concept. And
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah.
another thing will be to make the user interface very minimalistic and easy to access. Like there should not be like many options. Like nowadays we see in social media,
Right. Right.
reels, posts, stories, and all those things. So
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Right. Right. Yeah. Great idea, actually.
great idea actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Satvik.
Yeah. So I'm in a team with Prakhar, Shubhanshu, Prakhar and Shubhanshu. So our idea is inspired from the current COVID situation, where if the cases increase and there's a lockdown, basically for groceries, most of them are going to order from Big Basket or Grofers or Swiggy, Instamart or something. And the ones who are suffering here are the local shopkeepers, small supermarkets who don't have a delivery network of their own. So what we are planning to do is something like a delivery service where all shopkeepers can register themselves, add their products, and they can deliver it themselves to close by areas. But we can order from the app and they'll deliver it themselves. So we're going to create a page where the shopkeepers can register, and we're going to create a page where users can select the shop and then select the items, and then all the normal things like some Swiggy or Zomato, something like that, but for shopkeepers. And we're going to create a Sasta payment gateway.
Okay, yeah, nice idea. But I
Nice.
think something like this already exists, no? Like Shopify or something where people can set up their own business or something. I'm not sure of how it works actually, but I think it works on a
Nobody really
similar.
uses it though.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think in India anyone uses it. It's most likely used in foreign US, Americas, or UK.
No, Swiggy, Instamart, JioMart, and all have their own warehouses, right? From where they deliver.
Right, but they also partner with restaurants, no? Like restaurants or even local vendors. I think so.
Then I got what Satvik is trying to do, yeah, because this is an issue which, like, is a pretty pertinent issue with coming off like coming off of the
Yeah, no,
privatization
yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah.
The local
Uh-huh.
markets are dying, and especially like in
Yeah,
places
yeah.
in Karnataka, like especially Bangalore, where it's a hub of all the markets, right, on spices and all
Mm-hmm.
everything. So if everyone goes for packaged spices through all this Instamart and all, and there is no option which is giving that exposure, right, that specific location. So I feel that this is
Right, right.
actually a pretty good idea if this can become a very large scale idea if people are like able to get the first implementation right. This can actually become a very big project.
Right, right, right. Okay, yeah, I got your idea. Like you're basically connecting the like first-hand grocery stores or something to the end users and customers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We are not going
Nice.
to actually implement the payment gateway and stuff. We're just going to create a mock of it
Mm-hmm.
or something. That's pretty hard. Hmm.
Yeah. Like payment gateway, I don't think you need to implement it from scratch. There already exist payment gateways which you can uh, integrate with your app, right?
Hmm.
Right, right. So good idea actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, any more teams? Anyone from IMT21? IMT20 is pretty much on board and pretty much aggressive about this. Yeah, I see few people from IMT21. Have you all tried to think about something or like awkward silences? But
Like you don't need to have a well
yeah, you
thought
don't
out
have to have
idea.
a proper thought, right? Like just
Yeah,
looked at
just a
Vatsal's
brief
group and
abstract
Satvik's
of
group, right? So they
yeah, just a
just gave an
brief
abstract idea.
yeah, an overview of what you're thinking will also work.
Yeah, so any group want to
Hello.
start? Jainav? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. My team comprises of Anurag, like me myself, Anurag, Teja, and Varad. So
Right.
we are trying to build an app to find like your travel partner, like for your Wanderlust sidekick. So it will be like a player has to sign up with his account and has to basically create his own profile in which basically he will basically enter the details, his interests, his occupation, like which types of location he likes to travel, and based on that we will recommend persons. Like we'll recommend other persons with whom he could go trip with. So it's like a
Mhm.
tender for trips.
Right, right. Right. Nice idea.
And with the help of that, he will basically be able to find his travel partner. With basically, and the travel partner will also have the same interests as his, like the locations and the interests, the occupation. Like based on that interest, will match people.
Hmm.
Just to reconfirm, it's not Tinder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jokes apart, yeah, it's a pretty good idea because there is,
Yeah.
yeah, otherwise it's too much of dating and matrimonial these days, like people going for that. But this is
Yeah,
actually
we'll
a good topic to like actually start getting people to meet after lockdown, at least after COVID.
Yeah, and also many a times we try to plan it with our friends, and many times it doesn't work out. Some of
Hmm.
them are busy somewhere else, and some of them like are not in a mood for trip right now. And
Hmm.
like if you want to make a travel, then we could find people from other areas, from other locations to travel with us, and can make new connections.
Right, right. Okay, Vijay asks, how do you plan to match people?
So to match people, we'll basically match it basically on the basis of their interests, like on the types of location. Like we'll have a page in basically in your profile. I have to enter my interests. Like
Right.
it can be sports interest, it can be
So
some like
basically, there is a long list of interest we'll provide. Like when you log sign into Twitter now, there are many interests you can select. So basically, there's a long list of interests, and then the algorithm runs to match the interests.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, Vijay is saying, like, yeah, you're matching them through similarity of profiles. So you need to choose your algorithm carefully and also make sure that you take care of the user's concerns. Example, some people may not be comfortable traveling with people of different genders.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
have put gender, age, and both from both sides there has to be acceptance. Then only the that can be matched. Like
Right,
there will
right.
be a list of percentage, how much percentage of interests are matching, and
Hmm.
then the user can select from which person he wants to travel.
Yeah, he will basically send a request to that person, and if that person also accepts, then they both can travel.
Right,
They
right.
can team up.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was about to say that request exception is the best way you can go ahead with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one more thought I had was I did a similar thing last year, but not specifically in this domain. But like you can, to match people, you can create a bipartite graph in which like one side of people have specific interests and the other side has some specific other interests. So like you could create an edge between people of matching interests. Like
So can we so you are saying that we create a bipartite bit like food and then like some sports, and so they will have different bipartite graphs, something like that.
kind of, yeah, like I don't have it well thought out in this
Like a
case,
one
but
graph for interest only, right? For all
yeah, yeah,
kinds of interest.
yeah. No, basically, like if you want to match two people, then you have like the one group of nodes can represent a group of people with similar interest, and another group of nodes can represent group with similar interest, and an edge between the two will represent that like those two people have a possibility of matching.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Yeah, and
I can meet with you later to uh, explain a bit more on this.
and just to
Okay,
add to
thank you.
Shrey's point here, I think Keshav had it out whether this kind of algorithm or matching could require ML. If you are to do what Shrey is doing, that is to split these people into certain sets of nodes or certain sets of entities, then it would make sense to use something known as clustering. So that's an ML technique that basically, given data, you want to separate them into certain clusters or certain groups, which have some kind of that are very similar amongst each other members in the group but are dissimilar to members in other groups. So if you were to do what Shrey is doing, such as grouping them together by interests, it would
Hmm.
make sense to use ML. However, matching algorithms do not typically always need ML. It's
Yeah,
probably a good thing, but you can still do something like a weighted sum. So if you have a weighted sum of if these two things are similar, we'll give this matching a weight of X and Y
yeah.
and so on. And you can do a weighted sum and find the total weight and have a threshold. Learning
Hmm.
those parameters could be done through ML, but it's not a complete necessity, I think.
So
It's
we
up to the
can
developer.
weight things higher, which are of more priority to people.
Exactly. So that's where the
Hmm.
weight comes in. So you can decide what weight you're giving. For example, location is probably more important. If you live near each other, it's probably easier for you to go traveling than, let's say, if you like cricket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, actually, we have decided that the journey will not be included, only the destination they will meet.
Right, right. So you get the point, right? Certain parameters will have certain weight, which is more than others. So
Uh-huh.
if
Hmm.
you were to introduce weights like that, you can either get the weights by ML if you have a data set, let's say, or you can use these weights and you don't need to use ML. But to answer Keshav's question, it might require you can use ML if you want. If you were to use it, look up clustering.
Okay, thank you, Bhaiya.
Okay, thank you. Nice
Thank
idea.
Yeah, like you can do this without using ML even. Like
Okay, Bhaiya.
Vijay told, using weighted sums in graphs.
Yeah, we'll try that idea also.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, sure, welcome.
Any more teams like left present here in this meet? if not, we can wrap up the session. But we still see names who have not spoken yet. Like we've identified those who are in the same group and are here.
Okay. So this is Mayank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm teamed up with Sridhar, Darshak, and Anshul. So when we were in the chess club, we used to do offline tournaments. So I got an idea from the other core members. We can make a rating of offline players and make a triple ITB rating list, so that whenever you play with someone over the board, you know how much he knows chess. And this can be extended to any other game also. And we'll use the FIDE format of changing ratings in the game. So that will manage. So we're thinking about this, and I have not thought about the logistics of the app, but this is a rough idea.
Yeah, nice idea.
Yeah, I know this algorithm though.
Yeah.
It has two formulas.
Okay, maybe Vijay can explain more about it since I have no idea.
Yeah,
So
so
this
I
will
don't know
help
the
us over the
exact
board
mathematical
tournaments only.
formula, but what you essentially do is you lose or gain rating based on exponential of the difference between your two ratings.
Yeah.
So that's what FIDE is.
The input for the function would be the two ratings and the game result.
Yeah, exactly. So that will so based on that, you can now maintain a database with people and their ratings, and then update the database based on results. However, and you would learn about this in the future, you could have issues with two transactions that, so transaction is the updation of the database, two transactions that happen at the same time. So you have to make sure that that doesn't happen. So you need to look into concurrency control. But I think if you use a modern framework or a modern database implementation in Kotlin or something, I think it takes care of these issues by yourself. Anyway, I also saw a video long ago that has something very similar to yours. So here you're talking about chess ratings. This person was making an app. It's more of an entertainment app. He doesn't really code it, but you can look into this for inspiration as well. They make something like a rating algorithm kind of thing. So check it out.
Oh, nice. We'll see.
Yeah, Jainav says so. Based on the ratings, every year we could have the best player award.
Oh,
Helping the sports
we need funding from
indirectly.
Neha ma'am for that.
After conducting many events in a year.
This can be extended to other games also, and this can be extended to multiple colleges also.
Right.
The thing is, it will help in offline chess. Whenever you play with someone, you don't know the potential of the other player.
Yeah.
So if you know the other player is bad at chess, you can have confidence in the starting only.
Yeah. Pretty greedy strategy, but I like it. Yeah, that's a nice idea.
Thanks.
So,
nice.
did we miss out any more teams? Because I'm not going through the list one by one. Like, pretty nice ideas are coming up. So,
Okay, I think 3 teams more are remaining.
I think so.
Also, one more thing, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Mayank, I think your idea in Chess Club, you typically have two types of games, right? One is on Leechess and one is on here. You can even use the Leechess API to also load in the current ratings of their Leechess accounts, and you can start from there instead of starting from.
I was thinking one thing about this thing. I was confused. Leechess usually does one thing when you create a profile. It usually assigns 1500 to you. So we were thinking that we won't integrate with online chess and keep it like totally offline, 1500 in the starting for each and every player, and then we'll make games and we'll do tournaments, and then it will change.
Okay.
I'll think of this also, integrated with Leechess API also.
Yeah, cool. It's up to you totally. Just put it for your reference.
Yeah. That's great. I'll see.
Nice. Do we have any more teams?
Do you have any more teams willing to share? Like, one last call.
I think 7 teams have shared their idea.
Yeah, which is actually like pretty great. Like 7 teams. It will be a good competition actually between all of you two. Like, I think like people after listening to everyone's idea are motivated to work more.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. That's nice. And those who are not with an idea also, you still have time. You've heard so many ideas now. So I think you can
Yeah.
like now you'll know the lapses in those ideas and maybe you can fill on those. Like once you think about an idea, you see a lot of lapses. It's the same, right? When you're trying to explore something, you see a lot of lapses and then you try to fill it. And in that way, like something beautiful is created, right? So, so I don't think anyone is willing to share, I think. Yeah. So I think we'll wrap up this session now here. So
Yeah.
thank you everyone for coming here. Like we know that it's a pretty like hectic time this season because of all the sudden announcements coming up in college. Well, it's pretty,
Chaotic time is the
yeah, it's
right
a very
word.
chaotic times now, and we hope to receive the submissions, at least your idea, and like it's not necessary that it has to be like completely connected to a database or something, but yeah, do
Yeah.
follow the guidelines which are given because they're strictly like set guidelines by Google, so they will be going through your apps. If not us, the best app is definitely going through Google, so they will be very strict with the guidelines. So please make sure that you follow those guidelines, and those guidelines are pretty based on what the course they have provided. It's not like something way more outside of the box, and there's also sample repository there, so you can look and see how much they have implemented. So if you can create a implementation of that amount also, I think it will hit all the boxes they are looking for. And eventually these are going to be featured in Solution Challenge 2022, which is going to be in Feb or March, I don't know. And Solution Challenge 2022 is a pretty big event actually. It's not that people have much idea about here, but it's a pretty big event. They focus on issues which are in the UN Sustainable Goals. So I think if our projects are good, I think Google might give us an opportunity to also send teams or also like have some facilities to bring the Solution Challenge to here too. So we hope that everyone like make the submissions, and the submission is, I think if I'm not forgotten, is 7th end of day.
Yeah. 7th end of day. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll tell you we'll release the form for submissions also, and yeah, you need to use GitHub for all your submissions. We won't need zip files or something as such as your course
Wait,
projects.
submission is 7th, not 10th?
No. Our submission is
No,
on
7th.
7th. The 10th is we have to submit it, so we have to decide everything.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. So
7th end of day is the deadline, and you just have to submit that one pager document
yeah,
that.
one page document, your GitHub repository link.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need the zip file or APK file of any sorts. We just need a one pager document, and look at how they have made in the sample repository, because since this is going to be checked by someone else after us, it's better you go through their sample ones, because that app is also a very good one. Actually, that was one of the app which I thought, which was there in the sample repository. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming. So we're going to end this meet now.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions or
Sure.
doubts, suggestions, please let any of us know.
Yeah, sure. Feel
Or
free to mail us.
yeah, you could mail us or contact any one of us, Monjoy, Mayank, me, even Vijay, anyone.
Sure. Thank you everyone. We're going to end this meet now.